To add a new assessment, you press this New Assessment button, and it brings up a choice of 5 different types of assessments. The first type are general, and by pressing on this, you'll see these type of assessments are ones that are they're not based on any standard or outcome. They're just basically an assessment with a mark or a score. So the first one you here see a general assessment. It says an assessment with 1 mark or score, and by pressing the question mark at the end, you can kind of see a little picture of what it's going to look like. Basically has a student's name, the score that they got on the assessment, the value of the assessment, and the rating, which is based on a rating scale you get to decide. So I'm going to press X in the corner to close out of this. The other type of general assessment is one that's based on a lister of items that you're assessing on. So I'm going to press the little question mark at the end of this, and you can see this assessment is bar graphs. But on my bar graphs assessment, I'm looking at just 3 different things, and you can see them going vertically on this little screen here. Data collection, 2 points. Create graph, 7 points. Interpret data, 5 points. You can have up to 10 different items going across the top here to evaluate. In this case, I only have 3. So I'm going to close out of this, press X, and go back to New Assessment. And you can see the next type is standards, assessments based on 1 or more standards. So I'm going to press that. These are the standards for your state, province, or country. So a standard, an assessment based on 1 mark or score on 1 standard. I can press the question mark to see what it's going to look like. Basically, you can see the student's name, the score that they got on their assessment on that 1 standard, the value of it, and the rating. And you can see at the top it says what the standard is. Students will be expected to apply and explain the properties of 0 and 1 for multiplication. So I'm going to close out of this. And you can also do 1 standard plus indicators. So this would be looking at 1 standard but at your choice of indicators for that standard. So I'm going to press the little question mark so you can see what it would look like. So you'll see the standard at the top. Students will be expected to describe and construct rectangular and triangular prisms. And you see the indicators at the bottom, and there's 3. Again, I chose 3, but you can choose more than that or less than that, depending on what indicators you're looking at for this particular assessment. And then you can give them a rating on each of those indicators. And then an overall, you can see an overall score, value, and rating for this overall outcome. I'm going to press X. Multiple standards. So you can look at more than 1 standard at a time. Oops, I'm going to cancel that and go back. Sorry. Press this again. Go into standards. Multiple standards. I'm going to go to the question mark for that to show what it looks like. And this is just looking at multiple standards at one time. And I can you can see at the bottom, there's a score, a value, and a rating for each standard I chose. Now, these can be cross-curricular as well. So you could have some in science, some in language arts, some in math, all in 1 assessment. So I'm going to press X on this. I'm going to X. And again, to create one of these, you just press on the actual assessment, and it'll take you to the setup of that assessment. So I'm going to press X just to go through the other assessments. So I'm going to press New Assessment again, and you'll see there's reading assessments. So press that. 2 types of reading assessments. One is a quick reading assessment, which is a list assessment with really you're only looking at, it has the title of the book. Well, I'll press the question mark so you can see. Question mark. You'll see the student's name, title of the book that they chose, the level of the book, and then the rating scale on their accuracy, fluency, comprehension, and overall reading rating as well. I use this for doing kind of a little quick snapshot of how they're doing, and then I'm going to close this out. I do the full reading record, the next assessment, and I'll press the question mark. Full reading record goes through a full reading record on each student, and it looks at text info, the accuracy, the fluency, comprehension, and so on. So you can see this particular screen is looking at accuracy, and it automatically calculates the word miscue percentage and the rate of self-corrects and that sort of thing. And so I do this as a full reading record. I'm going to close this out, close X, and let's take a look again at new assessment. There's also rubrics or continuums. So I press this. You can do an assessment based on a rubric or a continuum. So let's press question mark for rubric. And you can see I create a rubric first in this program, and then each student gets assigned that rubric for this particular assessment, and then you just press on each of the different cells there and it turns it green. And so I can see this student got a B in paragraph features and kind of C in conventions of print. And again, you can change these titles. ABCs can be whatever you want, and so on. So this is one based on a rubric. And then the next one, question mark, is select a based on a continuum. A continuum is like a rubric, but over multiple grade levels. And so I can, again, look at, it's basically the same as the rubric, where when I press on a cell, it turns it green, but it can be over multiple grades. And by pressing these little green arrows on the sides here, it'll move up a grade or down a grade. So students can be marked over a continuum. And then I'm going to press X. The last type is additional, and we'll press this. There are some additional assessments, and I just made this random. You see a lot of them are repeating. It says reading conference, reading conference, reading conference, but this will fill, when you press this, it'll bring you to some different types of assessments that are add-on assessments that you'd have to pay for if you want to use these ones. And so as new assessments are created, they will be added and they will show up here. Now, once you press new assessment, and I press general, and I'm going to create a general assessment by pressing on it, it takes me to this screen where I fill out the information to create the general assessment. I'm not going through this on this screen, because if you see the camera, the video camera up in the corner, by pressing that will show you a video on how to fill out this form. So any assessment you go to, you can press the video camera in the corner and it will tell you how to fill out the form.